Upakkilesa. Kilesa means hindrance, and upa means big. So we're talking about the big hindrances tonight. Thus have I heard on one occasion the Blessed One was living at Kosambī in Gosita's park. Now on that occasion the monks at Kosambī had taken to quarreling and brawling and were in deep disputes, stabbing each other with verbal daggers. Does this sound familiar? Then a certain monk went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, he stood at one side and said, "Venerable Sir, the monks here at Kosambī have taken to quarreling and brawling and are in deep disputes, stabbing each other with verbal daggers. It would be good, Venerable Sir, if the Blessed One would go to those monks out of compassion." The Blessed One consented in silence. That means he shook his head, yes. Then the Blessed One went to those monks and said to them, "Enough, monks, let there be no quarreling, brawling, wrangling, or dispute." When this was said, a certain monk said to the Blessed One, "Wait, Venerable Sir. Let the Blessed One, the Lord of the Dhamma, live at ease, devoted to a pleasant abiding here and now. We are the ones who will be responsible for this quarreling, brawling, wrangling, and dispute." He was basically telling the Buddha, go meditate, let us fight. Can you imagine saying that to the Buddha? Wow. For a second time and a third time the Blessed One said, "Enough, monks, let there be no quarreling, brawling, wrangling, or dispute." For a second and a third time that monk said to the Blessed One, "Wait, Venerable Sir. We are the ones who will be responsible for this quarreling, brawling, wrangling, and dispute." Then, when it was morning, the Blessed One, dressed and taking his bowl and outer robe, entered Kosambī for alms. When he had wandered for alms in Kosambī, he returned from his alms round. After his meal, he set his resting place in order, took his bowl and outer robe, and while standing, uttered this stanza. Now this is very peculiar. Very seldom did the Buddha ever stand and say anything. He would always sit down. But this shows his disgust of those monks. "When many voices shout at one, none considers himself a fool. Though the Sangha is being split, none thinks himself to be at fault. They have forgotten thoughtful speech. They talk obsessed by words alone. Uncurbed their mouths, they brawl at will. None knows what leads him to act. He abused me, he beat me, he defeated me, he robbed me. In those who harbor such thoughts, hatred will never be appeased. He abused me, he beat me, he defeated me, he robbed me. In those who do not harbor such thoughts, hatred will be appeased. For in this world, hatred is never overcome by further acts of hate. This is only overcome by love. That is the fixed and ageless law. Those who do not recognize that here we should restrain ourselves, but those wise ones who realize this at once end all enmity. Breakers of bones and murderers, those who steal cattle, horses, wealth, those who pillage the entire realm, when even these can act together, why can you not do so? Now, this is really very big slap. If one can find a worthy friend, a virtuous, steadfast companion, then overcome all threats of danger and walk with him content and mindful. But if one finds no worthy friend, no virtuous, steadfast companion, then as a king leaves his conquered realm, walk like a tusker in the woods alone. Better is it to walk alone. There is no companionship with fools. Walk alone and do no evil, at ease like a tusker in the woods. Then, having uttered these stanzas while standing, the Blessed One left Kosambī. On that occasion, the Venerable Bhikkhu was living at a town close by. When the Venerable Bhikkhu saw the Blessed One coming in the distance, he prepared a seat and set out water for washing the feet. Then the Blessed One sat down on a seat made ready and washed his feet. The Venerable Bhikkhu paid homage to the Blessed One and sat down at one side, and the Blessed One said to him, "I hope you are keeping well, monk. I hope you are comfortable. I hope you are not having any trouble getting food." "I am keeping well, Blessed One. I am comfortable, and I am not having any trouble getting food." Then the Blessed One instructed, urged, roused, and gladdened the Venerable Bhikkhu with a talk on the Dhamma, after which he rose from his seat and went to the eastern bamboo park. Now what happened was, when he left Kosambī, the villagers were very upset. They were upset with those monks for fighting all the time. And when the Buddha was getting ready to spend the rains retreat there, and now he's walking away, and they became so upset with these other monks that they wouldn't feed them as long as they were arguing. So the other monks, they did tame down after this, but they didn't learn their lesson quickly enough. They had to let go of their attachment more quickly. So when the Buddha left the Venerable Bhikkhu and went to the eastern bamboo park, then on that occasion the Venerable Anuruddha, the Venerable Nandiya, and the Venerable Kimbila were living at the eastern bamboo park. The park keeper saw the Blessed One coming in the distance and told him, "Please do not enter this park, recluse. There are 3 clansmen here seeking their own good. Please do not disturb them." The Venerable Anuruddha heard the park keeper speaking to the Blessed One and told him, "Friend park keeper, do not keep the Blessed One out. It is our teacher, the Blessed One, who has come." Then the Venerable Anuruddha went to the Venerable Nandiya and the Venerable Kimbila and said, "Come, Venerable Sirs, come out. Our teacher, the Blessed One, has come." Then all 3 went to meet the Blessed One. One took his bowl and outer robe. One prepared a seat. One set out water for washing the feet. The Blessed One sat down on the seat, made ready, and washed his feet. Then those 3 venerable ones paid homage to the Blessed One and sat down at one side. The Blessed One said to them, "I hope you are keeping well, Anuruddha." Anuruddha was Venerable Ananda's older brother. And this is before he had become an arahat. He became an arahat after this discourse. "I hope you are comfortable. I hope you are not having any trouble getting alms food." "We are keeping well, Blessed One. We are comfortable, and we are not having any trouble getting alms food." I hope, Anuruddha, that you are all living in concord, in mutual appreciation, without disputing, blending like milk and water, viewing each other with kindly eyes. Surely, Venerable Sir, we are living in concord with mutual appreciation, without disputing, blending like milk and water, viewing each other with kindly eyes. But Anuruddha, how do you live thus? Venerable Sir, as to that, I think thus. It is a gain for me, it is a great gain for me that I am living with such companions in the holy life. I maintain bodily acts of loving kindness towards these venerable ones, both openly and privately. I maintain verbal acts of loving kindness towards them, both openly and privately. I maintain mental acts of loving kindness towards them, both openly and privately. I consider, why should I not set aside what I wish to do and do what these venerable ones wish to do? Then I set aside what I wish to do and do what these venerable ones wish to do. We are different in body, Venerable Sir, but one in mind. The Venerable Nandya and the Venerable Kimbala each spoke likewise, adding, "That is how, Venerable Sir, we are living in concord with mutual appreciation, without disputing, blending like milk and water, viewing each other with kindly eyes." Good, good Anuruddha, I hope that you all abide diligent, ardent, and resolute. Surely, Venerable Sir, we abide diligent, ardent, and resolute. But Anuruddha, how do you abide thus? Venerable Sir, as to that, whichever of us returns first from the village with alms food, we prepare the seats, set out the drinking water and the washing water, and put aside puts the refuge bucket in its place. Whichever of us returns last eats any food left over, if he wishes. Otherwise, he throws it away where there's no greenery, or drops it into water where there's no life. He puts away the seats and the water for drinking and washing. He puts away the refuge bucket after washing it out, and he sweeps out the refectory. Whoever noticed that the pots of water for drinking, washing, and for the latrine are low or empty takes care of them. If they are too heavy for him, he calls someone else by a signal of the hand, and they remove it by joining hands. But because of this, they do not break out into speech. But every 5 days we sit together all night discussing the Dhamma. That is how we abide diligent, ardent, and resolute. So what they're basically saying is they don't socialize, but they help each other in whatever ways they can. And every 5 nights, they'll spend the whole night discussing what their practice is doing, how their practice is working, and what the Buddha's teachings are. So that keeps it in their mind all of the time. Good, good, Anuruddha, but while you abide thus diligent, ardent, and resolute, have you attained any superhuman states, a distinction in knowledge and vision, worthy of the noble ones, a comfortable abiding? Venerable Sir, as we abide here diligent, ardent, and resolute, we perceive both radiance and visions of forms. Soon afterwards the radiance and vision of forms disappear, but we have not discovered the cause for that. You should discover the cause for that anaruddha before my enlightenment, while I was still only an unenlightened bodhisattva. I too perceived both radiance and vision of forms. Soon afterwards, the radiance and vision of forms disappeared. I thought, what is the cause and condition? Why the radiance and vision of forms have disappeared? Then I considered thus. Doubt arose in me, and because of the doubt, my collected mind fell away. When my collected mind fell away, the radiance and the vision of forms disappeared. I shall so act that doubt will not arise in me again. Now, when doubt arises, it's doubt of whether you're doing the correct practice, whether you're putting in enough energy or not. It's the kind of thing that when doubt arises, it causes your mind to be so distracted that you're only thinking about the doubt, and you forget that you're doing your meditation. So this is a hindrance. What do you do with a hindrance? As soon as you recognize that your mind has gone away, it doesn't matter, it can go away for 2 or 3 or 5 minutes. But as soon as you remember, you let go of all of the thoughts and relax. There's a feeling there, and there is aversion to that feeling. So there is allowing the feeling to be. Now this doesn't matter whether it's a physical feeling or a mental feeling. The feeling is either pleasant or painful, or neither painful nor pleasant. You allow the feeling to be there. Let it float around, just like it would be a bubble in the air. If the wind goes this way, the bubble will go that way. Or if the wind goes the other way, the bubble will go that way. There's no resistance. There's no trying to control the feeling. There's only allowing the feeling. Now it can happen that you have a feeling, let's say you have a pain in the neck, and you relax and allow that feeling to be there, and then you notice that feeling move somewhere else in your body. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Relax and allow that to happen. Now, smile and come back to your object of meditation. The feeling of loving kindness, making a wish for your own happiness. The more you practice smiling, the easier it is to have that warm, glowing feeling. So when you are doing your daily practice, try to remember to smile. Every time you see your mind become heavy about anything, time to smile. And laugh. Because when you laugh, it goes from I'm sad and I don't like this to it's only the sadness. It's okay for that sadness to be there. Let it be. Relax. Smile. Come back. So that's how you handle the doubt. The doubt is not going to go away right away because we're attached to it. We think, this is who I am. I have this doubt, and it's my doubt. But every time you relax, you're letting go of the identification with that thought and with that feeling. And then you purify your mind by the relaxing, and you bring your attention back to your object of meditation. So you're going to be bouncing back and forth with it for a little while, but that's okay. Try to see how mind's attention got there. How did it get to the doubt? What happened right before the doubt came up? What happened before that? What happened before that? As you start to look at this as an impersonal process, then you start losing your attachment to it. As you let go of your thoughts about the doubt and relax, you've let go of a big attachment of I am that, but there's still a little one there. And that's that tension and tightness, and you need to relax. Allow that feeling to be there by itself. It's okay for doubtful feelings to arise. It has to be okay because that's the truth. When it's there, it's there. Let it float around. Let it do whatever it wants. The meditation is not about control. It's not about trying to make something happen the way I want it to happen. It's about learning how to lovingly accept the present moment the way it is and relax into that. This is flashing. So, as you become more familiar with how this process works, you start losing your attachment to it and you start seeing it the way it really is. It's a lot of little things that are put together to make up this concept of doubt. Okay, now another interesting part about what the Buddha's instructions is he asked a question. What is the cause and condition why the radiance and vision of forms disappeared? You can ask a question of why is my mind wandering away from the object of meditation, but you just ask it one time and then you relax. And the answer will become more apparent for you. It becomes easier to see why that's happening. One time when I first started working at a meditation center, now this is many years ago, I was working and I was doing all kinds of remodeling and all kinds of things, and this guy came and he wanted to meditate, but he was going to be meditating by himself and he'd never done any meditation before. So the teacher came to me and said, I want you to meditate with him. And in my mind I went, I don't want to meditate right now, I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to do that, and oh, there's too much to do. But he said to meditate, so I did. And I was restless like you couldn't believe. My mind was so restless I couldn't feel any peace and calm. I was only having my mind go away and get into this feeling, and I felt like jumping out of my skin. I was so restless. So I asked myself, why am I so restless? I'm not generally like this. Why is this happening? And then I let go of the thought. And the next time I did my sitting meditation, the thought came to me, you don't really want to be here meditating. You want to be doing other things. And I went, of course, that's what's making me restless. I didn't want to be there doing it. But this is why I came to the meditation center, to meditate. So I let go of all these other things that I had to do, and immediately my mind calmed down. So it's okay to ask a question, why is my mind so active? But just do it one time and relax and don't think about it anymore. The answer will come. And when the answer comes, it will be a very obvious thing. You have some idea of other than doing the meditation right now. So you let that go and say, no, this is what I want to be doing. And then the meditation starts to settle down very easy. Yes.
So I can do that even as a beginner?
Yes.
You can ask the question why this thought come up.
No, why is my mind so restless?
Yeah.
Not why does one particular kind of thought come up. It's why is my mind not staying with my object of meditation? Why is my mind running all over?
So
Like
for
that.
example, like yesterday I come back from the hospice and I feel so sad and I couldn't bring the happiness thought. Then if I would just ask the question why I can't...
You can see where your attachment is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you recognize that, then you have to make up your mind, I can let that go for right now.
Yeah.
Okay? I shall so act that doubt will not arise in me again. As Anaruddha, I was abiding diligent, ardent, and resolute. I perceived both radiance and vision of forms. Soon afterward, the radiance and vision of forms disappeared. I thought, what is the cause and condition? Why the radiance and vision of forms has disappeared? What is the cause and condition of my not being able to get the feeling of loving kindness? Then I considered thus, inattention arose in me, and because of inattention, my collected mind fell away. When my collected mind fell away, the radiance and vision of forms disappeared. I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention will arise in me again. Inattention means that you're not really staying with your object of meditation. You have other thoughts that they seem real important and you need to think them right now. So when you see that your mind is not being attentive, your mind is kind of wandering all over the place, then that is the time to relax and let it be. Never mind these thoughts, they can come up when I'm doing my daily activities. I don't need them right now. And if it's a real important thought that you want to be able to have come up later, you can tell yourself, I'm going to put a red flag on that can come up after I get done meditating. And it does. It's real nice that way. I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention will rise in me again. As Anaruddha, I was abiding ardent, diligent, and resolute. I considered thus, sloth and torpor arose in me. Because of sloth and torpor, my collected mind fell away. When my collected mind fell away, the radiance and vision of forms disappeared. I shall so act that neither doubt nor inattention nor sloth and torpor will arise in me again. Now this is the cause of the sloth and torpor, is when you let your mind kind of ho-hum around a little bit and just kind of not paying attention to your friend and wishing them well and staying with that. You're letting your mind kind of, oh, let's think about this. And now you're not staying with your object of meditation at all. And your mind starts to get dull and dull. And now it starts to get dreamy. And then your back starts slumping. And then your head starts nodding. And the natural tendency for that is to say, oh, I've got sloth and torpor. And then you sit up real straight and you say, I'm going to stay with the object of meditation. And before long, your back is slumped and you're starting to nod again because you don't put in a balanced kind of energy. How do you stop this from happening? Take more interest in sending love and kind thoughts to your friend. More interest. I really do like this person. I really do wish them well. Little bit at a time. See, one of the things as you start to go more and more in your meditation, you'll start to notice that your energy, the amount of energy you need for your sitting in meditation is not always going to be the same. Sometimes your mind is very peaceful and calm, and it takes almost no energy at all to stay on your object of meditation. Other times your mind is running around all over the place, and you have to pick your energy up a little bit and let go and relax. Or your sloth and torpor comes, and you have to pick your energy up and relax and let go and come back. So it's always, every sitting is going to be different. It's never going to be the same. If you have a very busy day, you sit down in meditation, your mind is going to be busy just like it was all day. So why would you become angry at yourself or say, this is a lousy meditation, I can't do it? It's just acting out the way it's been acting all day. If you sit in meditation and you're tired, well, you're not going to stay on your object of meditation quite as well. So you have to pick up your effort in staying with your spiritual friend. A little bit, just a little bit, not a whole lot. But the more interest you have in staying with your friend, the easier it is to recognize when your back starts to slump a little bit. And then you can straighten up and let go right then. And then come back to your friend again and radiate that loving kindness. And what happened right before then? Oh, there was this dreamy state. So you recognize, oh, mind is starting to get dreamy. You let go right then. See, that's how you start letting go of the sloth and torpor, step by step. Eventually you'll get to see that when mind is not being very interested in staying on your object of meditation, you'll be able to recognize that very quickly and go, no, I really do wish my friend well. I sincerely do. And when you do that, then the sloth and torpor won't even arise after that. But it takes practice. And you have to get fairly familiar with this as well as with restlessness, because it's going to stay around a long time until you become an arahat. That's when you get to let go of these. Until then, hello friend. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent, and resolute. I considered thus, fear arose in me, and because of fear my collected mind fell away. When my collected mind fell away, the radiance and vision of forms disappeared. Suppose a man set out on a journey, and murderers leapt out on both sides of him. Then fear would arise in him because of that. So too fear arose in me. The radiance and vision of forms disappeared. So what happens when fear arises? When fear arises, you'll notice that your body is very, very tense. Where is it tense? It can be tense in your stomach, it can be tense in your shoulders, it can be tense in your back, it can be tense in your legs, and it can be anywhere. But when you recognize that, relax that area. Now you can be sitting and a fearful state can come up and your hands go like this. And you notice that it's very tight. So you let go of the tightness in your hand. And then you look for another place. Now, I have a silver tooth here. When I was in Burma, a dentist decided, don't sit with your cross leg. A dentist decided to do me a favor, and he was going to clean my teeth, and he broke my tooth. Then he said, we have to do a root canal. Now, in Burma, from one person to the next, they don't clean their tools.
Oh.
And they use the same needle over and over again without cleaning it. So I don't want them doing anything with needles around me. I don't want AIDS. So I said, okay, we can do the root canal, but I don't want any painkiller. You can't use a needle in me. And I made sure that they boiled all of their tools for a long time, and so that they were at least somewhat clean. So they started drilling on my tooth. You know what a tooth canal feels like? A lot of pain. And what would happen is I was sitting in the dentist chair, and all of a sudden I'm holding on and my knuckles are getting white, and I'm really feeling a lot of tension. I'm also feeling tension in my arms, I'm also feeling tension in my back, I'm feeling tension in my stomach, my legs. So as he was drilling, I started relaxing my hands and relaxing my arms and relaxing my back and the whole rest of my body. And then he would hit a place that was real tender, and everything would tighten up again. So I relaxed again. Now there was a lot of fear because I wasn't sure that this was a good dentist. And there was a lot of anxiety and a lot of dislike of the pain. So I started sending loving and kind thoughts to the person that was causing me the pain. So I'm sending loving and kind thoughts to the dentist. And every now and then he would hit a place and I would jump, and all of a sudden I'm very tight, and then I start relaxing again. And in my heart I start forgiving him for causing me the pain and smiling and sending that smile to him. I think he liked the feeling of working on me because he worked longer than he normally did. But when he got done, my mind was so calm, my mind was so collected, that there was a lot of joy that came up. And my mind became immediately very tranquil and very much at ease. As soon as he stopped drilling, no more pain. So I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. There was nothing to draw my attention to it. So he did the things he needed to do. And I got up from the dentist chair, and my mind was very tranquil, very much at ease, and I was happy for the whole rest of the day. It was a very, very good meditation. Not one that I recommend for anybody, because it's very difficult to do that. But it was worthwhile for me, because I didn't want to get somebody else's disease from needles and that sort of thing. So there's when fear arises, take a look at your body where the fear is, where the tension and tightness. Of course you're going to have a lot of thoughts about all the reasons why you don't like the fear. and how you're trying to make so you don't feel the fear. Now, in this instance, you don't let go of the thoughts and relax and let go of the feeling. First you let go of the feelings and all over the body, and then relax, and then let go of any thoughts that remain, and relax, and come back to your loving kindness. The fear is going to come up again. That's the nature of fear. You come back to your loving kindness, you just start making a wish, and immediately it goes back. And you have all of these tight muscles again, and then you have to relax that, and then relax here. Let go of any thoughts that remain and relax. Come back to the loving kindness again. As you do this over and over, it gets easier and easier to see, I didn't ask this fear to come up. It's not my fear. The cause of the fear, it doesn't matter what the cause is. How the fear arose, that's what matters. So as you start to see how your muscles all become real tense and tight, and you start recognize that, you let go more quickly, you relax more easily, you come back to the loving kindness, and you start staying on the loving kindness for a little bit longer and a little bit longer, but you keep going back and forth for a while. Eventually that fear will fade away and it won't bother you anymore, and then you have joy and happiness and very tranquil mind. All of these wonderful states will arise when you let go of this kind of a hindrance. Okay, as Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent, and resolute. I considered thus, elation arose in me, and because of elation my collected mind fell away. When my collected mind fell away, the radiance and vision of forms disappeared. Now, what I'm doing is I'm reading you the short version of this. Every time he asked the question, what is the cause and condition of this? Why did my loving kindness go away so easily? So that's, you always have to ask that question. Now the elation is when your mind becomes very happy, and it becomes over happy, and then you focus on the happy feeling and don't ever let it go. Oh, this is nice, I really like this, this is a happy feeling, very good. But when you're practicing the way that I'm showing you, a happy feeling and a painful feeling you treat in the same way. You let the happy feeling be, you relax, you come back to your object of meditation. Yes, it is pleasurable. And no, it is not yours, and you cannot control it. You will make that happy feeling go away faster when you try to hold on to it and try to make it yours. So as you allow this happy feeling to be and relax and come back to your meditation, you start to get more of a sense of balance. And that's what the meditation is all about. Suppose a man seeking one entrance to a hidden treasure came all at once upon 5 entrances to a hidden treasure. Then elation would arise in him because of that. So too elation arose in me. The radiance and vision of forms disappeared. I considered thus, so I shall act so that neither doubt nor inattention nor fear nor elation will arise in me again. So this whole sutta is trying to teach you about having that sense of balance and all of the different little things that will knock you off balance. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent, and resolute. I considered thus, inertia arose in me, and because of inertia my collected mind fell away. When my collected mind fell away, the light, or the radiance and vision of forms disappeared. Inertia is when you just don't feel like doing it. And you'd rather just sit there and do nothing than do the practice. And your mind just kind of dulls out. Inertia is like you have a piece of bread and you want to put some butter on it that's too hard. And you try to spread the butter, but it just tears the bread. It just doesn't spread at all. Okay, that's that kind of mind. It's a mind that has real strong dullness in it and just doesn't feel like doing much of anything. So what you need to do is recognize that and let it be. Let go of all of those thoughts about why it's good to feel this, because it is kind of a pleasurable feeling. And you relax and let that be. And then you see that feeling of dullness, and it's not a pleasant feeling. The thoughts about it are pleasant, but the feeling itself is tight. So you relax and you let that feeling be there, smile, come back. And you bounce back and forth with this for a little while too. Okay. As Anuruddha, I was abiding, diligent, ardent, and resolute. I considered thus, excess of energy arose in me, and because of excess of energy my collected mind fell away. When my collected mind fell away, the radiance and visions of forms disappeared. Suppose a man were to grip a quail tightly with both hands. It would die then and there. So too an excess of energy arose in me. An excess of energy is restlessness. When you try too hard to control something, it will make you restless. When you have the idea that I want to have a calm mind, and it doesn't become calm as fast as you want it to, then you try a little harder, and your mind becomes more agitated, and more energy comes in, and you have an excess of energy. So you need to ask the question. Now that's what I was doing when I was at the meditation center. I didn't really want to be there. I wanted to be doing other things. So I was putting too much energy into trying to control that desire. And because of that, I didn't have any peace or calm at all. I had this mind that was running all over the place, telling me everything that I needed to do, but I was stuck here sitting. You've never had that happen, right?
Never.
Never.
It's all very foreign to me.
So again, this is learning the balance of the amount of energy you need to put in. If you see that your mind is very restless and it wants to be doing this or doing that, and you find that you're not paying attention to what you're doing in the present moment, this is something that arises during your day very often, is that restlessness, and you're thinking about doing something else while you're doing this. Now you don't do a very good job with this, And quite often you leave that job alone and go do something else, and then you have to come back and finish this one. And you're always thinking about something else while you're doing what you're doing in the present moment. It's kind of like you're leaning out of the present moment because this present moment isn't quite the way I want it to be. So I'll try to get to the next present moment a little bit more quickly. Yes.
Is it a good time to meditate for the beginner, like early in the morning when I just get up, or before bedtime?
Well, I would say the best time to meditate would be after you get up, you wash your face clean, eat breakfast, and then you're wide awake. Now it's good to sit in the morning. And if you have time in the evening, then that's your bonus meditation time. If you save it for the evening, then somebody calls you and they say, we got to go do this and got to do, and then you say, oh, I'll meditate tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and something else happens. Excuse me. And then you say, well, I'll meditate, I'll try to do it tomorrow again sometime.
So if it's any reason, if I missed the meditation one day, should I make up another session the next day?
If you can. But if you always sit in the morning, it's a very nice way to start the day. And then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. But anytime you have an extra 10 or 15 minutes, you can meditate right then.
I thought you said the minimum is that the
well, but this is after you have done your minimum.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, so if you have an appointment and you're there and someone is late for the appointment, instead of becoming restless and not liking that, then you start meditating and get peaceful and calm.
Like today I went to the doctor's office, I was sitting there for half an hour waiting.
Uh-huh.
Is that kind of weird to meditate?
Not really.
Right in front of everyone?
Not really.
No.
I do it all the time.
I did it today in the Chinese restaurant.
Oh, do you?
They had like 4 hours in the airport. We missed a flight and she had to
You just sit there and just focus and...
Sure. Yeah, I keep my eyes open, but I keep doing the practice. Or sometimes I close my eyes.
So you can meditate with your eyes open.
You can meditate all the time.
I do it while I'm driving.
That's what I heard.
Be
People
careful
do
with that one.
meditate when they drive and then...
While you're driving?
You want to make sure you're driving and not...
Oh yeah, well I don't do a full
Yeah.
deep meditation. I just focus more on the feeling of loving kindness and
sending happy thoughts.
sending happy. I'm not so much, deep into it, but I'm just kind of,
Is it kind of like your present moment is driving, and so you're watching your mind, and if things go off that, is that what you mean? You're noticing how your mind wanders when you're
I'm focusing on the feeling of loving kindness, and I'm noticing what else pops into my head while I'm driving. And I just feel very present when I do that. And then I notice all kinds of things by the side of the road that I never noticed before, and other things about where I'm going that I never even saw before. And I'm just kind of interested in that whole moment.
Okay. Are you smiling then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do the same.
I'm
I'm not
worried.
too concerned about like getting too deep because I'll hit something and I'll notice it.
That's my fear of like in the tent to driving.
Well, I think it's important that it's clear language-wise that
Yes, no, you're right.
That the object of attention is on her driving. That's her object of attention. She's putting loving kindness into her driving. You understand? Instead of sending to a friend, she's putting loving kindness into her driving, and
So
she
she can be happy.
notices how mind moves while she's driving. You ever drive someplace, you go from here to here and you don't remember anything in between. Ever have that experience?
Yeah, I'm a better driver, I've noticed,
I
actually.
drove home without knowing how I get home. but
Yeah,
I better stay off of it for maybe another year.
Because when I started
Yeah.
with Bhante, I got on a bike, and he said, just put loving kindness into riding the bike. And I was going on a 13-mile, bike ride. But I was new at this, and to be honest, I don't know if I think I was putting more attention into loving kindness than the bike, and I fell. And that's why I'm saying it's important to be clear that when the moment, if you're doing anything, that's your
yeah, you're right.
attention,
Because
you
what
see?
happens is my thoughts will be going everywhere. Like usually I do this it's a meta emergency. Like I'm really mad about something or upset or thinking about everything, and so I kind of like start just releasing those and focusing on where am I, and trying to notice things around me and take more interest in noticing that moment more fully.
Right.
And then all the stuff in there starts to seem a little ridiculous. And that's when I can laugh at how seriously I'm taking myself, And then I can kind of relax and just again focus on where I am, and instead of all the thoughts where normally, like she says, I'll go 20 minutes and not really know how I got there.
Right. And this is a division of your attention on your task. And what happens if you practice, you get better at being able to focus on a task when you're doing something in a present moment, instead of having a lot of stuff and only putting part of your mind on what you're doing at work or driving or walking or anything.
Well, let's give an example. Let's say that somebody at work, right before you go home, they say something and you don't like that. Now you're angry. How did you get from your office and being angry to your car? Do you remember? Not really, because you're thinking about that dirty, no good, and I hate this, and I don't like that. And then you get into the car, and you start to drive. But are you driving?
No.
You're thinking.
Yeah.
Same thoughts over and over again. So you're not driving and you back up and you hit something. Why did you have that happen? Because you weren't paying attention to the present moment. You were paying attention to what happened 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago, and not liking that.
And then you blame your husband.
Well, husbands are good for blaming, I think. But you see, when you're practicing loving kindness, you see those repeat thoughts, and you go, there's an attachment, and you laugh at being so serious. Now you're more in the present moment. And it's only this anger, I don't need to be angry now. Now you're very much in the present moment when you start smiling a little bit.
So then I can put a reflect on that and deal with it the next day?
Yes, if you need to. Most of the time you don't. So it's another way of being happy in the present moment, instead of thinking about something else while I'm doing this. Do you understand how scary it is to be where there's a lot of cars on a freeway when somebody gets angry at another person? That's, I start backing away. No, I don't want to be around this. I like it where I am, where I see 4 or 5 cars in one day. That's enough.
Yeah. Top of that, someone cut you off and
Yeah.
you'd be so mad.
But that's when you start putting in too much energy into disliking it. wanting it to be different than it is, and taking it personally and holding on to it and having your repeat thought over and over again. When you can laugh at that, at yourself for being caught again, you'd think I'd learn.
So I have my cousin, she's, her husband just passed away a year ago, and now she's by herself. She's have all kind of fear and worry about everything and anything. So maybe I should bring her here and let her listen to
I think
live
so.
in the present moment and be happy with the present moment and don't worry about the past or the future.
The grief can manifest in a lot of different ways. For some people, grief is anger. For some people, grief manifests as fear. But it's still part of the grief, and identifying with not liking the husband dying and wishing it was different than it is, and that sort of thing. So learning how to be in the present moment helps to relieve that grief. So it's not so painful anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it a sin to think bad thing of somebody you anger?
Is
So
it a
that
sin?
yeah.
There's no such a thing as sin. Look at how much you cause yourself for holding on to that anger. You cause yourself pain. Look at how tight you are. Look at how many times that thought, what you think and ponder on, that's the inclination of your mind. That means the more you think about how you don't like that person, the more you're going to think about not liking that person. The more you're going to be out of the present moment and thinking. And that's how accidents occur.
But then if you think of something bad about that person and you wish the bad thing for that person, you feel good.
But you don't really. You don't really.
And then when the anger is over, then you just don't care anymore.
But indifference is part of dislike. And dislike causes tension and tightness. And dislike will come up again very strong when another situation that's similar comes up, only it comes up stronger because the past dislike is still there. Now you have the past dislike with the present dislike. So it pulls your mind way far away and causes you much more pain. You see your mind becoming more and more serious all the time. And that's painful.
Because a couple of days ago, I was trying to help a friend who couldn't be here. I came to this dead person's house, and she threatened to hurt me. So I ran. She ran after me. I got in my car and ran. And so then I had bad thought about that thing can happen to her.
Well, what did I read at the first part of this sutta? Hatred can never be overcome by hatred.
Mm-hmm.
Hatred can only be overcome by love. This is an eternal law. It's the way it is no matter what. So you start holding kind and loving thoughts towards that person instead of angry thoughts. And they will start to change as you change. You become more happy, they become more happy. Then, no problem.
Do an experiment and see if it works.
I heard from other teaching that you just give that person a present.
Oh,
That
no.
I don't know how I'm
No,
gonna do
this is
that,
a
but I
different
heard
situation. I'll never go back there and I never see that person again. I hope that person don't come and harass me at my house.
But
Well, that's
what
different
can you
when
do
it's
if she
endangered
does?
alive.
Because she got my license number.
What can you do if she does?
Huh?
What can you do if she does?
Call the police?
So you're going to hold on to that fear and that anxiety and that
I
hatred
don't
of that situation of your life, anything else with it.
No.
You're opening yourself up to having that happen again and again and again until you change. So what I'm telling you is send loving and kind thoughts to yourself, to her, and to her anger. Let her anger be her anger. You don't have to take it. You don't have to make it yours and throw it back at her.
This is so interesting though, because it's a perfect example. Like you're talking about the major hindrances, fear and these things, and then he talks about that, and you talk about your thing, and then that makes you think of this woman, and so then you're out of the present moment already tonight, thinking about the woman who made you feel the fear, and then it's a perfect example of how to practice a meditation immediately. Let it go, relax. I don't want to. She made me really. Let it go, relax. she's crazy. I gotta warn somebody about her. Let it go, relax. She's not around right now. You're crazy. You're talking to yourself.
But you know,
But you see how that causes your own pain.
if it's in danger of your life, you do have to do something. I mean, if
Well,
it
she
happens-
did the right thing. She got out of there.
But her life's not in danger
But
right now.
her life is
right?
not in danger right now.
Yeah.
Of course, there's everybody's life is in danger. This building can fall down 2 minutes from now.
Oh,
Who
thanks.
knows?
It just happened at
But
university.
worrying about it doesn't help.
Right.
Worrying about it causes you to be more sad, and it causes your mind to be more hard. So look at how many times you've had thoughts about her since that happened. See?
Yeah.
That is what attachment is.
Yeah. It just happened at the University of Washington where we work today. The woman is 26 years old, and she had a restraining order against her ex-boyfriend, and she got the guy literally came to her office and killed her, and then shot himself. So that, is beyond giving loving kindness
Yeah.
to that person.
Well, at that moment, but if she would have been practicing before then, that wouldn't have happened. See, she put off, she had a lot of fear.
Yeah.
She kept building on that fear. Oh, he's going to come get me, and I really don't like him, and I want him to stop, and I get a lawman to say he can't do that anymore. But she kept building that, and what you think and ponder on, your mind inclines towards that, and you start pulling that negative energy to you.
And what
Do you
would she
have
have
a
done in
phone
that
going?
situation?
Somebody else is fine.
If
Okay.
somebody, in that situation, if she feel threatened by her ex-boyfriend, what would she have done?
Well, I would have gone someplace else, that he wouldn't have known where I
He
was.
did too.
But that's not all. The reason I would go someplace else for a period of time is so that I can let go of my fear and my anxiety and my dislike. And when you start doing that, that gives room for the other person to change.
And I think she done everything that she would have done or should have done. She moved from one apartment to another place. The only place that she stay at work is she had to stay where she worked, and she did inform her supervisor and her boss, and they all know that. They all look out for him. They have his picture and somewhere posting so they can all recognize
Yeah,
him.
but it didn't work.
Yeah, it just.
But what does work is changing your own ideas about the situation. See, she changed physically, but she didn't change mentally. And that's what she needed to do. She needed to work mentally on letting go, on relaxing, on allowing the space for that other person to change. Now, one of the meditations that I do teach is called forgiveness. And what you do is you forgive yourself for not understanding. You forgive yourself for making a mistake. You forgive yourself for causing anyone pain. As you do that with yourself, someone can come up in your mind and they caused you pain. So you see them in your mind's eye and you look them in the eye mentally and you say, I forgive you for not understanding. I forgive you for making mistakes. I forgive you for causing me pain. And you have to stay with that until you feel no more pain. This is very powerful. It helps you to let go of all the past pain that you hold on to. And as you do that, it gives space for another person to change. An example. I was teaching a farmer in Malaysia. He was raising durian trees. And one of his neighbors did not like him at all. And he would come around and he would try to kill the trees. They fought for years like this. He finally came to do the meditation with me. I told him that I want him to do forgiveness. Right after that, he completely forgave that man for misunderstanding and causing pain and all of those things. He saw that man in town, and the man walked up to him and apologized for causing him so much problem. And now he said, he is a friend. He is not my enemy anymore.
How long did he practice that? That forgiveness?
About 2 weeks.
It's pretty powerful.
It is amazing stuff. It is very powerful. As he let go of his fear and dislike of this person, now there was space for the other person to change. But when you hold an idea of this person and your dislike of this person, they will always act in the way that you think they will act. And that causes pain for you and pain for them. The Buddha's practice is about balance. Not holding on to these ideas of fear and anxiety and dislike. It's not easy, especially when you have a big fear or a big dislike. You have to keep working with it over and over. No, I really do forgive you. And your mind says, ain't no way, I'm not going to forgive this clown. They caused all kinds of problems. I can't forgive that. No, I really do forgive you. You didn't understand the situation. You made a mistake, I made a mistake. You caused pain to me, I caused pain to you. I forgive that. As you honestly do forgive it, over a period of time, your mind will say, yeah, I really do forgive that. They didn't understand. And how can I be angry at somebody if they didn't understand? You see? Now that person, they can fade away and you never see him again, or they can come up and you can become friends. It doesn't matter after that because you've let go of the attachment.
Is it possible to get rid of this hate and anger for good?
Yes.
Because that's part of the human emotion.
No. I'm teaching you all the time how to let go of that.
Yeah, once you let go of it, it won't come back. Once you've forgiven that person.
I know, but there always going to be a situation or encounter in the future.
But faster and faster you can let it go. First maybe 2 weeks you're mad. Then you keep practicing. Then maybe only 1 week you're mad. Keep practicing.
When can we learn to practice that forgiveness?
I'll write it out for you. I
Keep
have,
sending loving kindness to that person.
I have been asked to make a booklet like the loving kindness
Yes.
book that I gave you on forgiveness, and I haven't done it yet. I started 2 or 3 times, and I just never got it. I got it done, so I promise I will get it done. I will. We will put it on.
Can you send it to us?
Yeah, oh yeah. As soon as I get it done, I will.
I'm just seeing an interesting thing too, that, you know, we talk about how loving kindness, it's a power, you know, and it'll go out and it'll affect people and everything, but what we're missing is sometimes we don't talk very much about when we get angry or angry against somebody, and we feel that is, like you say, like we feel like, well, that must have sinned that I did that, and then we hold on to that. We may say, you know, we may think we let it go, but that's there too, and that goes out around us, just the same way as the loving kindness we were talking about earlier. So it emanates from us, and then the person picks up on it, and then the person acts on it, because that affects them just the way the loving kindness goes out and affects the people. And that's
Oh, I know. Because I was being kind at first, and then she made a threat. She said, "If you ever come here again, I'm going to break your leg." I said, "Why don't you come down here and break my leg?" And she did. She ran down the stairs. She's much bigger than me. So I ran in my car and took off. So I was answering anger with an anger.
Right.
I tried to keep
It
my
doesn't
cool, but I
work.
couldn't.
It doesn't work, does it?
No.
When you start practicing forgiving, then in your daily life, somebody says something you don't like, right then you forgive them for not understanding, and now you're not angry because they didn't understand. See? So now your mind is in balance, and that leaves the space for the other person to calm down or to go away, whatever is appropriate for that person, but not to come back at you with anger. Anger can never be overcome by anger. Anger can only be overcome by love. That's the eternal law. It doesn't matter whether the Buddha's here to tell us or not. That's the way it always works. And I didn't say it was easy. I didn't say it was easy. But if you practice, you get good at it. I have people walk up. I went to I was flying from Lahore back to the United States. And I had to stop in Hong Kong. And it was going to be 3 or 4 hours stop. I'm walking around, and this man walks up to me and he slaps me. And why? And he said, "Oh, I hate you guys that are in these rooms." And I said, "You can hate me all you want, but don't hit me again." And because I did not give him anger in response, I started talking with him. And he actually wound up buying me a meal. And he donated some chocolate to me. He bought a thing of chocolate for me. But I didn't respond with anger. I responded with, "Why did you do that?" "Well, I hate you guys in robes. You guys think you're so high and mighty, and You're always trying to sell books at airports. He thought I was a Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
But because I didn't respond with anger, I got to forgive him for causing me that pain, and when I did, that changed the whole situation. And I'm glad that doesn't happen very often.
You weren't ready for that one with the lady. I'll break your back. Okay. Don't do it again.
I guess that's very difficult to do. I guess it takes a lot of practice because, like, as human beings, you react naturally to your emotions. So,
At first,
you always get to suppress it.
no, you don't suppress it. That's the thing. You relax into it and send loving kindness instead. I can give you a lot of instances where I've got out of major problems because I was sending loving kindness instead of getting into my fear or anxiety. And every time I learned a new lesson, yeah, this is the right thing to do. So I have a lot of confidence that it does work. But it does take practice. As you do your sitting practice, you will start to feel a change in the way you see the world around you. And as you start to appreciate that and start sending more and more loving and kind thoughts out during your daily life, everybody around you will start to feel that, and they will start being kinder to you, being nicer. It does work, honestly.
Can we do it now, even though you instruct us that we send loving kindness to only one spiritual friend?
With your daily activities, you can send loving kindness to anyone. While you're doing your sitting, just to your spiritual friend or to yourself.